Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into, well, one of the biggest industries on the planet, construction and design, and frankly, one of the most challenged operationally.
Yeah, we've gathered quite a bit of material here, advanced thinking on project delivery, lean methods, commercial stuff too.
And we're starting with a statistic that, honestly, it should really shape anyone involved in building things.
It really should. Research consistently shows that somewhere between 60, maybe even 80 cents of every single dollar spent in this industry is non-value added waste. That's from the client's perspective.
60 to 80 cents on the dollar waste.
Yeah. It means potentially 4/5 of the budget isn't actually building value. It's lost to things like inefficiency, mistakes, waiting around, rework.
So for you, the learner listening in, this deep dive is about understanding how the best in the business are tackling this head on. Not just small tweaks, but radical improvements. We're talking productivity boosts of 6 times or more.
Exactly. And our mission today is to unpack not just the tools, things like lean construction, the agile framework Scrum, but also the fundamental culture shift that's needed to make any of this stick.
Right. It's not just about process.
No, definitely not. Our sources cover everything from practitioner guides to some pretty advanced commercial frameworks like integrated project delivery or ITD. It's all about moving away from that adversarial, wasteful model.
Okay, so let's start with the diagnosis. Why does traditional construction fail so often, so predictably?
Well, look at the numbers. Projects run the old way, the defined or, waterfall method. They only have about a 13% success rate.
13%. That explains a lot. Those are the projects we all unfortunately recognize late, way over budget, unhappy clients at the end.
Precisely. And then you contrast that with projects using what we call empirical processes like Agile. Their success rate jumps to 42%.
Wow, more than triple.
Yeah. So the data is pretty clear. The traditional step-by-step rigid approach just can't handle the complexity, the uncertainty that's inherent in design and construction.
And like you said, it's not just the process itself. There's this cultural inertia, isn't there? These ingrained attitudes that actually lock in the failure.
Oh, absolutely. We've all heard them on site, right? Things like, well, this is just the way we've always done it.
That's the classic.
Or maybe even worse, we get paid to do, not to think. That one just perfectly captures the old mindset, Focus on individual tasks, individual achievements, not the overall project's health. It rewards being busy, not actually delivering value.
And people often think they're being super efficient when they're actually making things worse. Let's talk about multitasking for a second.
The multitasking myth. Yeah, the research on this is just brutal. When people switch mentally, even construction pros, switching from one job or project to another, they lose over 20% of their time. It's called dual task interference or context switching. You feel like you're juggling a lot, getting loads done.
But you're actually just burning a fifth of your day, switching your brain back and forth.
Exactly. So real efficiency demands focus. Single tasking where possible.
Okay, so if the core problem is this deeply embedded waste and these old mindsets, the solution has to start with a change in philosophy. That brings us to lean. What are the absolute basics there?
Lean construction really stands on 2 pillars. They sound simple, but they're revolutionary in practice. First, respect for people. Second, continuous improvement.
Respect for people and continuous improvement. What does that shift actually look like culturally?
It's about moving from being a knower, the person who acts like they have all the answers already, to being a learner, someone who approaches problems with curiosity, ready to experiment, learn from feedback.
And for that continuous improvement part, you first need to actually see the waste clearly, right? Lean uses that downtime acronym.
That's right, downtime. It helps categorize the 8 types: defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transportation, inventory motion, and excessive processing. It gives you lenses to see the problems.
So of those 8, what do people actually doing the work say are the biggest headaches, the ones they run into every day?
Our sources point to 3 consistently. Number 1 is waiting. Just classic delays. Waiting for information, waiting for materials to show up, waiting for the crew ahead of you. Poor communication is a huge driver here.
Okay, waiting. What else?
Defects. This is pretty straightforward mistakes. Errors in drawings, bad calculations, work that doesn't meet spec. All of it means wasted effort, time, money fixing things later.
Right. And the third one you mentioned links back to that first lean principle, respect for people.
Exactly. Non-utilized talent. This is the waste that happens when management ignores good ideas from the folks actually doing the work, the ones on the front line,
Oh.
or when they don't empower them to make decisions.
So you're literally paying people but stopping them from contributing fully.
You got it. You're paying for their expertise, but then hamstringing them. It's incredibly wasteful.
Okay, achieving that kind of cultural shift, especially the continuous improvement part, sounds like it needs real discipline. You mentioned it's based on the scientific method: plan, do, check, adjust.
Yeah, the Schuhart cycle, or PDCA. Plan, do, checks, sometimes called study or assess, and then adjust or act. And yes, it requires huge discipline, because the default in construction is go, 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 action.
We don't have time to plan. We're already behind schedule.
Exactly that. But Lean insists on the counterintuitive discipline of really spending time defining the problem, planning properly before rushing into doing. You have to measure and reflect to actually improve. You can't improve what you don't understand.
But that feels like a tough sell on a chaotic site, doesn't it? How do you get teams to pause and plan when there's pressure from the client or the weather's closing in?
You make planning part of the work rhythm, not an optional extra. And that's where, if Lean is the philosophy, Scrum comes in as the practical framework. It's lightweight, built for complexity, which construction definitely is.
Okay.
Scrum forces that discipline because work gets done in short focus cycles. They're called sprints, usually 1 to 4 weeks long.
So instead of one giant rigid plan up front, you're planning and adapting in these shorter bursts. Let's make this concrete. Tell us about that case study, the Blessed Stanley Rother Shrine in Oklahoma.
Right, a fascinating case. A big, complex Catholic basilica. Started out traditional design, bid, build, 4-year schedule. But by the last 6 months, pure chaos.
Oh, bad.
They were getting 1 or even 2 change directives every single day from the design side. Plus, Oklahoma had record-breaking rainfall that year. The schedule was completely shot.
Okay, sounds like a typical disaster unfolding. How did they pull it back?
They brought in some basic Scrum ideas and combined them with flow concepts, specifically something called the last planner system, which we can talk about. The result: they stabilized the workflow, improved reliability, and actually clawed back over 2 months on the schedule.
They got 2 months back from that chaos.
Yes, but here's the kicker. The owner saw how much more reliable and efficient things had become. They saw the team was actually going to finish early, and the owner wasn't quite ready for that.
So what happened?
So the owner, unexpectedly, gave them a 4-month schedule extension, basically rewarded them for getting their act together by easing the pressure.
That is completely the opposite of how things usually go. Rewarded for efficiency with more time. That reduced stress must have helped even more.
Yeah, absolutely. It improved flow reliability even further. It speaks volumes about building trust.
So how does that system, the last planner system, measure that reliability you mentioned?
Okay, so LPS, Last Planner, it's really a lean tool, often used in construction projects. It's all about making commitments reliable. It tracks workflow using a few key terms. You start with should.
Okay, should. What's that?
That's the work that, according to the master schedule or the phase plan, should be done around this time. It's the big picture target.
Got it.
Then you have can. This comes from looking ahead maybe 3-6 weeks. It's what the team realistically thinks can be done, considering constraints like materials, info, crew availability.
Okay, should, can. What's next?
This is where it gets critical. Will. This is the weekly work plan. It's the specific list of tasks that a foreman or a team member explicitly commits to completing that week. It's a promise.
A promise.
And finally,
Did simply what actually got completed from the will list.
and you measure the reliability with PPC.
Right. Percent plan complete. It's just the number of tasks, DID, divided by the number of tasks they said they will do. So did divided by will.
And it's more than just a number, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a direct measure of commitment reliability. Are people doing what they promised? When teams see their PPC score consistently high, say 80-90%, trust shoots up. They stop needing to build in huge just-in-case buffers into their schedules because they trust the plan and each other.
And this kind of improvement isn't just for massive projects like a basilica, right? We heard about an individual manager applying this.
Yes, a great anecdote. One manager started using disciplined Scrum just for their own work managing complex items, specifically change orders in this case.
And their personal throughput, the number of change orders they could fully process per sprint cycle, went from less than 10 up to over 60.
60, that's a 6-fold increase.
6-fold. And the time it took, the lead time, for each change order dropped from nearly 25 days down to just 5 days.
Just by applying Scrum discipline and focusing on flow.
Exactly. By focusing on value-added work, eliminating waste in their own process. It shows the power of these ideas, even at a personal level.
So to get these kinds of results, whether team-wide or personal, What are the key behavioral changes needed? It can't just be process.
No, absolutely not. The sources emphasize 4 core behaviors: collaboration, trust, something called promise-based management, basically do what you say you're going to do, and continuous learning.
Let's focus on collaboration for a sec. How does that need to change?
The big shift is how you collaborate. Instead of one person proposing a solution and everyone else picking it apart, you need to engage the entire team in defining the problem first. Get everyone aligned on what you're trying to solve before jumping to answers.
Because critiquing a proposed solution shuts people down.
Right. Whereas defining the problem together opens up creativity and gets everyone thinking about the project first, not just defending their idea.
Okay, so we have lean philosophy, Scrum framework, LPS for reliability, optimizing the actual work. But what stops the contracts, the commercial side, from just poisoning the well and driving everyone back to adversarial behavior?
Critical piece. That's where integrated project delivery, or IPD, comes in. These are specific types of contracts designed to align everyone's financial interests towards collaboration, not against it.
And the core mechanism for that is pain sharing and gain sharing. Explain how that works. It sounds like it needs a lot of trust up front.
It absolutely does. Basically, the owner, the designers, and the main constructors sit down together and agree on a target cost for the project, a realistic, achievable cost.
Okay.
If the team works together efficiently and delivers the project under that target cost, everyone shares in the savings. That's the game sharing,
Yeah,
usually according to a pre-agreed formula.
makes sense. And the flip side?
If things go wrong and the project goes over the target cost, everyone shares in that financial hit too. That's the pain sharing. Again, based on the agreed formula.
So the incentive structure completely changes.
Completely. Instead of protecting your own slice of the pie and maybe even benefiting from others' problems through change orders, now everyone is financially motivated to make the entire project successful. You sink or swim together. It frees up energy usually spent on defensive maneuvering.
What's the biggest hurdle to getting companies to sign up for that kind of shared risk, shared reward contract? Seems like a leap of faith from the traditional model.
It is. It demands radical transparency and a genuine willingness to share risk. The old system rewards hiding contingency, blaming others. IPD is built on the opposite. A key element demonstrating this is contingency sharing.
How does that work differently?
Instead of each party secretly adding their own buffer, their own padding, into their price, which is called contingency stacking, and it inflates the budget, the IPD team sets up one explicit shared contingency fund.
Okay, one pod for unexpected issues.
Exactly. And if the team manages risks well and doesn't need to dip into that fund or only uses part of it, the leftover money is split between the owner and the project team.
Ah, so the team is incentivized to treat that contingency pot like it's partly their own money.
Precisely. Manage it wisely, solve problems efficiently, don't let issues fester into big claims. It drives prudent risk management.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together. We started with this shocking figure, maybe 80% waste in traditional construction. And we've journeyed through lean principles, Scrum execution, integrated contracts, all pointing towards potentially massive productivity gains.
Yeah, the common thread through all of it, the real driver, is a fundamental shift in culture. It's about genuinely valuing the people doing the work, committing to being learners, not knowers, and using these frameworks, Lean, Scrum, LPS, to make the work visible, make the flow transparent and predictable.
You make the invisible visible.
That's a great way to put it. Make the flow of information and work visible so you can manage and improve it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, there's one last idea from these sources, something pretty provocative that emerges when you really embrace these systems thinking approaches. If cost and schedule are fundamentally lagging indicators, they tell you how you did in the past.
Right, they're looking backwards.
What's the best leading indicator? What predicts the future success of one of these complex projects?
The insight from practitioners deep in this field is that we need to look beyond just the financial or schedule metrics to predict where a project is heading. The most powerful leading indicator. It might just be team happiness.
Team happiness, really.
Think about it. When cost or schedule metrics dip, it might take weeks of analysis to figure out why. It's already happened. But if you monitor the team's morale, their engagement, their general happiness with the workflow and collaboration, if you see that dip.
You can intervene immediately.
Exactly. Leadership can ask, what's wrong? What barriers are you facing? Right away. Because sustained, high-quality, reliable work simply doesn't happen without engaged, motivated, reasonably happy people driving it. The well-being of the team becomes your clearest crystal ball for future project outcomes.
Wow. Predicting project success by measuring your team's satisfaction today.
Yeah.
That's a powerful takeaway for any leader in any complex field. Thank you for breaking all this down for us.
My pleasure. It's fascinating stuff.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Scrum has really unlocked the value of team effort, so everyone pushing in a single direction.
Scrum has taught me how to prioritize my workflow. When you break it down into sprints, I think a weekly basis speaks very well to pre-construction.
I think it's unlocked this idea that we don't have to know all the correct answers to everything, that our teams really, we can rely on our team by bringing them into the process.
My goal is effective delegation and using Scrum to eventually speed up those processes. And if we do delegate something, making sure that it's followed through.
We've had teams kind of each individual working in their own vacuum, and then picking up from the Scrum program, it really helps the team be more cohesive. The whole team from top to bottom can see any inefficiencies that are happening, and the entire team can attack that problem